Hey everybody, this is Jesse here at Jesse Lee Strength and Fitness. This is going to be a recap of week 6 strength training session regarding my conventional deadlift as well as the overhead press and the finisher of dips. Just a reminder, please like, subscribe, and share. I hope you enjoy the content. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Um, each week, basically, I'm recapping my lifts, just kind of talking lifting, my lifting philosophy, and exploring some different kind of strategies and some things that I utilize, as well as periodically offering some exercise suggestions, as well as some demonstrations. So today, we're just going to recap this lift. I'm running a strength progression on the conventional deadlift, as well as the barbell overhead press, and then I'm having a finisher on this day be the dips. So right now we're fairly early in the sessions. This is week 6. So this is a week 6 from the end of my running training, and now we're kind of running a bit of a progression from that end of that season, which took place in mid-October, and now we're kind of working towards strength, and here we are in kind of mid to late November. So basically the main lower body lift of this is the conventional deadlift, and I've been largely, because of my height, I'm 6'3", almost 6'4", I've really kind of shied away from this conventional deadlift, although some of the best deadlifts in the world are tall dudes. It's just a long way to travel, and it doesn't make a ton of sense, so probably doing things like rack pulls and things like that makes a little bit more sense from the height perspective, as well as my age. I just am, I'm a bit stubborn in that way, and I want to do it conventionally. So making sure I'm mobile enough to get to the floor and pull from the floor is very important. I do feel like risk reward on the conventional deadlift, the risk is probably higher for the lumbar spine, maintaining tightness, making sure the volume is right, making sure that you're not doing too many reps. I mean, younger guys can probably get a lot more volume, and I think us older dudes. So just making sure, older women as well. So just making sure that you're getting an appropriate level of volume and maintaining stiffness and tightness in good form, and not getting that kind of lumbar flexion, making sure you're getting your hips back. So a lot of things kind of at play in the conventional deadlift. So that's the reason I say this. These weights felt fine. I typically am doing, only about 10 reps at my working set for this, but I felt good. I didn't have a middle set because my warm-up set was, heavy-ish. So 185 for 5, and I hit 225 for 3 sets of 5. In comparison to the first week, I hit, like 135 for 5, and I think I hit 185 3 sets of 5. So we're at 6 weeks, and I pulled, 40 extra pounds on each lift. So definitely making some good progress. I do feel a little bit of my low back on the day following, and so I kind of thinking that I should keep the volume a little bit lower on these. I was just feeling kind of feisty, and I kind of wanted to kind of burn some things off. Those are always kind of interesting things to be kind of feeling pent up a little bit in a lift, because things are going to go really well or they're going to go poorly because you're trying to lift with your ego and you're really trying to just go for it. So remember, training is, little and often over the long haul. So don't overdo it in a session. But I mean, this was a little bit wild. So I would say probably could have added a middle set and maybe just hit 2 sets of 5 there. That might have been a better protocol. Maybe just go 185, 205, 225 for 2 sets of 5. In hindsight, that's probably the right way to have programmed that. But that's okay. You live and you learn. Sometimes, especially in these kind of early days, I'm still kind of fine tuning some of these things, and I'm kind of going by feel a little bit as well, trying to have a general idea of my session and then just narrowing it in as I go along. And then on to overhead press. I've gone up in this weight as well. So this was a 90 for 10 and 105, 3 sets of 5, and last set of 6. So that has moved from, basically starting off at 65 pounds for my warm-up set and working at 85, and now we're about 105, and I hit 105 for 6. So I'm definitely moving in that right direction. It's probably going to be by week 6 or week 7 that I'm going to deload or week 7 or week 8 that I'm going to go ahead and deload, just to give myself a little bit of a neural break and just switch up some movements. I don't think I'll deload on these particular movements. I may or may not. I might just do some like goblet squatting and some kettlebell swings and a few things like that just to switch up the patterning for that week. But we'll just kind of have to see how that goes. A deload is basically just kind of giving your nervous system a break, making sure you're not kind of going into overtraining. But I control my volume so sharply, and I make this kind of slow progression that I don't feel in fear of really needing a deload. But I think I may do that probably in the next week or two. And then I did a finisher of dips where I did 6 sets of 3. I really wanted to keep like short sets, so I hit 3, backed it off, hit 3, backed it off, hit 3, all the way up to 6, and then the last one. So I got a ton of volume. I got, I guess that's going to be 18 plus 3 is going to be 21 reps. So the last time I did them, I think I got about 16 reps. So definitely got a lot of volume in that. So that's good. And that ought to help my bench press continue to go up. What I kind of see is basically if I can continue to have my squat be really going well. It seems like the squat is really the standout of all of these lifts. I'm feeling really good and comfortable and confident with that. I'm hoping that is the thing that rises all the tides, however that saying goes. I think the squat's going to drive up some of these others, and just continue to try to make progress. Try to monitor, the sensations throughout the week, making sure that I'm doing all of the appropriate moves to make sure that these lifts go well by doing my foam rolling, also just finished up my basically my single leg balance drill, my hanging from a bar. I did some bear planking, I did some crawling, I did some plyometric bouncing, and then I did my feet up the wall for about 10 minutes. So that's definitely a thing that kind of resets everything, and I feel like I'm feeling great today, and then I'll rest tomorrow and then get a lift in on Sunday. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening. Please, as I said, like, subscribe, and share, and please offer any suggestions that you have.